Hello guys, this is your community manager for Drakensang Online, Haruki, and welcome to the 5th episode in the Dev Diary series. Today's podcast will take us to a very dear place for a lot of players in search of challenge and glory. As you know, with release 158, we have implemented Chapter 1 of the reworked Parallel Worlds, which will be completed with introduction of Chapter 2 for release 159. In order to comment on this awesome release, give us some personal insights, and give us a peek on what is still to come, we have here today Jason, our lead game designer, who has been involved very close with the project since the very beginning. Hello, Jason. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. We know that you guys are quite busy, but there are a lot of players over there who really appreciate you guys, taking the time to comment on your work and give us some hints, what happens behind the scenes. So props to you. So as we have said, the reworked version of the Parallel Worlds is being deployed in 2 chapters. For those heroes who have not heard about it, can you comment very briefly on what has been introduced with release 158 and what will be introduced with release 159?
Well, the new Parallel Worlds are coming with a whole bunch of new features. First of all is the splintered city of Cardoon. There's a whole new, all of the quests have been rewritten. They're new quests that Amon will grant you. New difficulty levels, taking you all the way up to level 50 now. Random monster enchantments, we've added those to all the champions. And the loot improvement and experience has been completely revamped. We've got more higher drop chances for legendary items. Enchanted items have higher minimum values and a higher chance for maximum values. And items now drop set on your character level, which is a big new deal. In terms of the content, all the maps have been improved and rearranged and reorganized. They've been made better with better gameplay and graphically. They're quite improved, and we've got new items and sets.
Okay, and what can we expect for 159? Because we want to know what is there as well.
Well, following right after the Parallel Worlds release, we'll be doing with release 159, we'll be introducing the difficulty system, and we'll talk a little more about that later. The other thing that's going to be a big news in terms of items is that players will be able to craft all new unique items. They can get crafting stones from the materia merchants, and this is going to work a lot like the crafting in the Dragon events. The players will be able to craft the new Untouchable sets, a whole bunch of new unique boss rings, and a few other sets, including some more new unique items that we'll be having dropped by the bosses. And we'll be just continuing this for a while, adding new items as we go.
Okay, that's great. One of the main features that jumps, to the eyes when players access the Parallel Worlds for the first time, let's say, is a new hub, which is called the Splinter City of Cardoon. So once you traverse into the dungeons, players will notice that a rearrangement has happened across all the maps, that the dungeons feel and look different. So what changes have you applied, to all of this adventure progression, and what do you think you have achieved with it?
Well, in terms of what changes we made, the first and most obvious choice is we improved the hub. It was way too small for the number of players going through it, and it was a little chaotic. It didn't really guide the player in a very obvious way, and so we rearranged it so that the players will have an obvious, clear path through the hub, and also we got rid of a lot of the whole waiting room idea, which just causes map changes, which no one really enjoys looking at loading screens. In terms of the dungeons, we rearranged those and we improved them graphically, as I said. The old maps were basically revisits of existing maps without a lot of variety or change, and in this case we really decided to give them a complete graphical overhaul and make them much, much cooler. And with that, we decided to improve the loot, because as many players know, the map M2, or the Hall of the Dead, is one of the more popular loot experiences, and we wanted to get all of the Parallel Worlds maps up to that level of satisfying gameplay reward cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's also a whole bunch of new random encounters, so even if you're playing them over and over again, you're going to feel like you're getting a fresher experience.
Okay, and let's talk about items, because this is a very popular topic
Very popular.
exactly with our community. Since Race of Valor came out, you guys, from game design, have been very busy calibrating, enhancing items, stats, enchantments, etc., to make them more in tune with the new content, level cap, and the player experience. This has obviously been an important part of the reworked parallel worlds as well, as you have said. So Release 158 has seen improvements made to the classic sets, plus a great number of uniques, and you have also introduced new unique rings and an amazing new Ammon set. Are you stopping there, or is this thing going to keep on like this?
Not even close. We're going strong. As a matter of fact, we're actually recording this in the game design room. We're on location. And right now, being very quiet, like very quiet little mice, our game design team is working on the items for Release 159 as we are talking to you. There are going to be a whole bunch of new items coming. We're going to add unique items that we're updating items, and we're doing just general passes, improving and rebalancing these items as we need to. Drop chances are improved for all manner of items, and as I mentioned earlier, the quality of items has improved dramatically. And since high-level players won't be getting items below their level, that will make it more satisfying for everybody playing that. And as you know, this all comes as part of our really looking at our loot experience, which is a huge player motivator, and trying to make it the best it can possibly be. And we'll be doing that from here until, who knows when.
Okay, I mean, that sounds like a very nice thing to look forward to. Actually, another thing that a lot of people are looking forward to is this new difficulty system. The difficulty system. Can you delve a little bit more into it? Like, what's new in the system that we have not seen before yet?
Well, players will be able to pick 3 different levels of difficulty. There will be a standard, a hard, and then a very hard, or an extreme level of gameplay. So you'll be able to pick your challenge level, and that should be a lot more rewarding because you'll basically decide how dangerous you want the parallel world dungeons to be. What that means is that whenever you pick that level, you'll be helping determine what the damage and hit points of the monsters are. You'll be giving the champions and the bosses more abilities to use against you, but in return, the higher difficulties will give you more XP, more rewards, like more quest items, more coins, and materia fragments. The quality of the items that are going to drop has been improved so that you'll see just more enchantments, more gem slots available. And you'll be getting, just overall, a very much, I would say, improved experience, including boss drops that are going to be much more regular and much more rewarding.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I mean, this sounds to me like, a great step into unique battle experiences, something that we didn't have before, in the sense that, well, since you also introduced random monster enchantments and champions into play, this means that every time I go and do a run, a dungeon run with my friends, I'm going to be, enjoying new battle experiences every new time. It's not always the same then.
Right. There will be different monsters throwing different, or rather, same monsters, but they'll be using different tricks, different random monster enchantments. Other factors will come into play every time you play through. It should be... whereas it won't be a completely unique and new experience every time, you'll be having different tactical challenges every time you go through, based on the different abilities that monsters can manifest.
Okay. And when did the project started? When did you guys come together and say, okay, we need to, change something here, something there? Can you share with us how did the project begin?
Well, a year ago, when we decided that it was time for a content expansion, and we were going to raise the level cap to level 50, that automatically meant that we were going to have to review the parallel worlds. No one thought that it would be a suitable thing to do to just raise the level cap and call it good. Instead, we really wanted to look at the feedback we've gotten from players about, how M2 is the best dungeon, problems with not enough variety in maps, problems with them being obvious copies of existing content. And so we thought, if we are going to raise the level cap and do a revisit and improve the parallel worlds, let's do it right. And so part of that was introducing the difficulty system to really make it challenging for the wide variety of player types we have. And then we really started planning it side by side with the Lortag expansion. So it's been part of the plan for, like I say, about a year now. And after Lortag shipped, we took a look at how the players' play experience was, and how players were enjoying the expanded level range between level 46 to 50, and we used that feedback as part of our rebalancing for the parallel worlds and for the difficulty system.
Okay. And we know that the reworked parallel worlds are just one of your daily duties. Could you maybe tell us in which other big projects is this team, of game designers currently working? What can we expect to see happening inside Dragon Sang in the near future?
Well, together, all of the people at Big Point Berlin, we're working on a Christmas event. We're going to be adding more improvements and more dungeons to the parallel worlds. We are going to be working on another character class, which will be probably the most significant change to everybody's gameplay experience. And we'll be improving gameplay throughout. We've got a whole bunch of user experience feedback, and we'll be introducing a lot of fine-tuning and improving just a lot of the basic features in the game. And PvP and game balancing are things that we are always working on. We're always making changes. We're always trying to collect data and decide what we need to do there. So yeah, that's a lot going on.
Personally, I'm quite, curious about how the new archetype is going to look like, because we know how it's going, the process, but it's something that I'm personally looking forward to. But the interview is finishing, and I would like to ask you if there is something else you want to tease our players with prior to the release 159, or what comes later, or anything you want to add to this interview.
Well, what's coming later on down the road, it's going to be a lot later than release 159 or even 160, but we're in the early stages of planning and concepting for the next content expansion, which is pretty cool. And we're going to be doing features that have been sort of floating around in the background for a while, like alchemy, and another one that we've made some real headway on is our transmutation or transmogrification feature. So lots going on, and a lot of stuff I can't even talk about as well.
Okay, guys, so as you have heard, there are great things to look forward to, and we hope that you are as curious and eager as us to explore them. Jason, we would like to thank you once again for your time and wish you all the best with your future enterprises.
Oh, thank you.
And guys, remember that Jason and his team are very eager to read your opinions on the forums and social media, so don't hesitate to pay us a visit there and drop your comments about the new version of the Parallel Worlds or any other aspect of Dragon Sang Online that you wish to comment. Don't forget to check our profiles on Facebook and Twitch, as you will find interesting content there, and see you in the next podcast.